Right, so now I got my purified, well, first step in purification, removing the water-soluble impurities. Next thing I'm going to do is actually two steps. I'm going to do the saponification, where I add the hydroxide, in this case sodium hydroxide, in order to break up the triglycerides into the respective triglycerol or glycerol, or 1,2,3 propane triol or glycerol, and the fatty acid. So to do this, we put it back on the hot plate. This time I'm going to add 75 mLs of water. Where'd you go? There you are. And this should help basically get above the layer of the raw material that's sitting in the beaker from before. And then I'm going to add my sodium hydroxide. Start heating it up. So what I'm going to do, once it starts getting closer to temperature, I'll show you like picture videos as we start moving along. But what's going to happen over this are two things. One, we're going to do the saponification, and two, we're going to get steam distillation. So the steam distillation is meant to remove impurities that would not be removed from the water separation step from before. But these are usually materials, impurities that we really don't want in our final product, and they're not triglycerides. They're not going to react. So this is going to accomplish two things. Again, we're going to do the saponification, and we're also going to do steam distillation for purification. So here I've only been heating for like a minute or two, and there's already noticeable changes in the material. So a little hard to see in the video, admittedly, but if you look close, what was once kind of a smooth paste is now starting to break into these flakes. And what's happening now is the saponification reaction is starting to take place, and we're starting to break down the triglycerides that were making up the backbone of kind of that goo. So palm oil is about 50% the palmitic acid that we're trying to extract. So again, just starting now, we're already starting to break our triglycerols into their fatty acids, and we're already starting to see qualitative changes in the material itself. Here we're about 5 minutes into the reaction, and we're starting to get a nice oil layer on top as the palm oil begins to melt. We get closer and closer to the boiling point. We're also starting to see the solution turn kind of foggy here, and this is more, actually from my experience, just due to the fact that you're reducing a lot of soap. So usually when you buy soap in the store, right, like it's got a little liquid soap, it's got a little bit of soap, a little bit of water in it, it's kind of got like that oily consistency to it, that thick, slimy consistency. That's kind of where this is getting at now, that we're actually starting to form a lot of soap, and it's starting to dissolve in the water itself. And the more the reaction goes, the more and more we should lose part of this top layer, although it's not going to all disappear. About 10 minutes in, I'm already starting to get a little bit of boiling in the solution, and you can kind of see this white foam forming across the top. These are the water insoluble impurities, that some of which we're hoping to knock off with the steam that's carrying the impurities out, but part of it's just going to be stuff we simply can't get rid of. And there's also a thick oily layer sitting here at the top too. Some of that is unreactive triglyceride, and some of that again is just kind of organic impurities that we haven't quite removed yet. Now we're kind of getting to a boil, and the big concern here is that because we have an oil layer on top, it might suppress boiling. So just keep an eye on this while it's running. Make sure you don't get it too hot. I've actually turned it down to about 1 here. And just, again, give the occasional stirring. Right now we're still kind of breaking down triglycerides using the sodium hydroxide. I'm also going to start heating up now my deionized water for the vacuum filtration step.